You work hard on a drawing or a painting, you spend hours scripting and editing the video, trying to capture multiple angles of the process, make it as entertaining as possible, but then you post it and it just doesn't perform. If this has been you, you need to toss the script and change the way you film your videos. There's a reason we find films so engaging and inspiring. They're productions with flawless camera work and creative editing styles. They tell a story, from simple ones like a young woman carving a life for herself away from home for the first time, or they can be as complex and abstract as exploring dreams and whether or not any of our ideas are truly our own. I'm not saying that your videos have to be high budget, high production, film-like quality videos with professional camera work and all of this effort put in post-production. What I am saying is that if you think of your videos like this, your content will step up to the next level. You don't need a really fancy camera to make your shots look more cinematic and artsy. The main thing that I do to make my shots look a little bit more artsy, a little bit more cinematic, is diffusion filters. So on this camera right now, I have the Moment Cine Bloom 50%. It's a diffusion filter. Basically what it does is it just softens the image, reduces the contrast, and makes the light around that lamp right there just bloom a little bit more and creates that nice soft look. If I unscrew it, it looks like this. Fine, totally workable, but not as good as it looked before. The first tip that I have for you is just to film a wide variety of shots. 2 wide establishing shots, 2 mid-range, and 2 close-ups are a good place to start, but don't feel shackled by this. Feel free to branch out and get really creative if you want to. That diffusion filter that I have on my lens, it does really interesting things with lighting, and so I like to push my creativity and film in situations where the lighting is really, really bright and the shadows can be really stark, and that can lead to some really interesting effects. And basically, just that diffusion filter helps me create this coherent, consistent visual language when coupled with my other aspects of my style, I guess, when filming, helps set me apart from other creators. But what shot variety does most effectively is that it helps you tell your story. Say that I'm about to start a watercolor painting. I could just jump right into the painting, just do 1 shot, no big deal. Or I could show you the entire setup process, me taking the supplies out, taping down the paper, setting up my easel, sitting down at my desk, filling up my water cup, getting the brushes ready, getting paper towels or something. And then suddenly it transcends just an ordinary shot. An ordinary occurrence becomes something much more artsy, much more cinematic. The painting is now just the subject of the film, but the real work of art is now the video. Treating your videos like this, especially your painting processes, where honestly, they're far more entertaining if you have a lot of shot variety. They're far more attention grabbing if you do it this way. Thinking about your filming like an art form just takes your videos to the next level. And now that we have our sequence, we can jump into the rest of my tips, which come in on the editing floor, i.e. post-production. All right, so we have just shy of 9 minutes of recorded B-roll footage for this sequence. That is a ton of footage. You are never going to want your sequence to be that long, like in any possible world. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to cut everything until all we have left are the most important parts of each clip, the parts that help us tell a story. We are getting ready for this painting. Then our second step is going to be to sync all of that up to music. So we're gonna take our clips, shorten them down, and then we're gonna shorten them down again to the beat of a song. Then the third thing that we are going to do is to add in some supplementary sound effects to various parts of our sequence. So when I do this, I basically think about what kind of sounds should I expect in the clips that I'm watching. And then for our last bit of this sequence, I'm going to add in some hand-drawn animations and some cool text effects. I've basically thought of this whole sequence as an introduction to a video. So that's the motivation for this whole sequence. You're preparing to start a watercolor painting. Yeah, and then with that, our sequence is basically all done, so let's give it a watch. really hope after seeing that you guys understand what's possible with editing and how you can make your videos just so much more interesting with just a little bit of work. I am not saying that you do this for every second of your video. This was a lot of work, and I'm probably gonna have to find a way to use this in an actual video aside from just this one video because it took me like hours to make. But for the parts of your video that are most important, like your intro, or if you notice in your analytics that people are dropping off at a specific point in your video on average, you probably want to pick up the pace a little bit right then to keep your viewers' attention. That kind of stuff is so useful. Picking up the pace in the beginning, communicating a lot of information, because otherwise you might be tempted to say this stuff to your audience when in reality you can just show them. I can show you footage of me doing the edits. I can show you footage of the B-roll sequence being created, and that's so much more effective at communicating the information and grabbing your attention than just me sitting here talking about it to you would be. Anyway, I hope this video was inspiring for you. I hope you apply these tips in your own content, and if you're interested in seeing more videos just like this one all about YouTube and filmmaking specifically for artists, I recommend you subscribe and click this playlist right here. And with that, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.